You could not have picked a better Sunday to come to church. You could not have picked a better Sunday to come to church, because we are kicking off a new series today, and it's going to be something that the title says it all. The title up on the screen says that the best is yet to come. And I truly believe in this series, you are in for a treat. And it's not a treat because of what I'm going to say. It's a treat because what I really, really, with the bottom of my heart, believe that God is going to do in this series. Because we're going to be studying the book of Ruth. And if you've never read the book of Ruth, it's a very short book. It's only 4 chapters. You could read it in probably 15, 20 minutes, okay, from cover to cover. On the surface, Ruth doesn't seem like a very exciting book. It's not like a wars and fighting and enemies defeated. There's no Red Seas. There's no seas that are split. There's no miraculous healings. There's no dead people come to life. On the surface, Ruth is actually kind of a boring book. It's a dialogue for most of it. Okay, so if you know how sometimes you watch a movie, like the action movies, okay, and there's very little talking in it. And then you have those movies where it's just 2 people in a coffee shop talking. Okay, we call them my wife's type of movies. Okay, you know those? This is one of those kind of books where it's just people talking the majority of the time. It's actually a story of a tragedy. It's about 2 ladies who lose everything. Not just lose everything, they lose hope, they lose loved ones. But it seems like, we'll get into it today, it seems like they've even lost God. Because it seems like God himself has left them for dead and moved on in his life. But what you will see is that even though God doesn't speak in this book, even though God isn't present in a visible way, even though it's as if God isn't even on the stage, okay, with just the dialogue that's taking place in the story in any way, you will see that he is present in every word that is uttered. He's present on every page. It's impossible to miss him once you see his protection, his provision, how he is taking care of details in a hidden kind of a way. So if you feel stuck, I'm in a place where I shouldn't be, this is the book for you. If you feel hopeless, this is the book for you. If you feel like my life, I'm at a dead end, and I just don't know where this story goes, you are in the right place, because the best is yet to come. Here's our key thought, and the key thought really says it all. Let's read this all together. Just around the corner from the worst is God's best. Again, just around the corner from the worst is God's best. Like I said, Ruth is a story for people who have no hope. Ruth is a story for people who are at a dead end. Ruth is a story for people who have not just said, why God? We've all said why God at some point or another. But Ruth is for the people who are in a situation and you can't imagine how anything good can come from this situation. Have you ever been in that place? I've been in that place. We've all been in that place. Some of us may say we're in that place right now. Not just, I'm in a bad place. Okay, God, I need you to make this good. I'm in a place that if I am super duper creative and I think with all my heart and I think, I can't see any way that this road takes me over there. You're in a place where you can't see any good possibly coming from this situation. That's where we find this story. And if that's you, you're going to love Ruth. Because Ruth is all about how God works in mysterious, wondrous ways that never add up. It's never 1 + 1 = 2. How he is working in what I wrote down here in my notes. Impossible to perceive ways. Ordinary events. Insignificant events. Trivial events. Events that have nothing to do with anything that I'm praying about. Somehow, God uses them to accomplish mighty things. If I had to pick a theme verse, the theme verse for this series is Ephesians 3:20. It's not from the book of Ruth, but I think it captures the spirit of it better than anything else. It says, now to him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. Repeat that after me. Now to him who is able to do. Now to him who is able to do. Exceedingly abundantly. Exceedingly abundantly. Above all that we ask or think. What this verse says is there's no limit. There's no limit. There's no limit to what God can do. Like you on your most creative day, when you're trying to think to yourself, how can this situation be solved? What good can come of this? God has ways. Like God forgets ways. God leaves solutions like there's no solution. He doesn't even pay. Like he's got so many solutions. He can't hold on to them. Because God, on his least creative, he's got ways that are not just above us, that are not just exceedingly above us, but exceedingly abundantly. You know what the difference between exceedingly and abundantly is? You know the difference? One means very, the other means very, very. So what St. Paul is saying right here, he's saying God is not just above us. This is what I imagine. Like, you ever heard like a kid tell a story? And they're like, this was really cool. This was like really, really cool. This was like the really, 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 really. Or the people who that they text, okay, that way of like, love you so much, okay? Not to make fun of my wife again, but she's just right there. So Marianne will do that. Love you so much. And I'm like, how do you know how many so's? So if you got a text from her, does she love you 4 so's? That's what St. Paul is doing right here. He says, I want to tell you how much God can do. God can do above what you ask or think. Okay. No, let me tell you again. God can do abundantly above all you ask or think. Okay. No. God can do, help me out, God can do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think. No matter how bad the situation may seem, just around the corner from the worst is God's best. Just around the corner from the worst is God's best. I don't know if you believe it or not, but my prayer is that by the end of this series, you'll be fully convinced of that. So with that said, let's jump into Ruth.